And hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are back inside of Minecraft, and today we're playing Scared Shiftless. So I'm already scared because basically what this map is it's inspired by Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. And I accidentally walked too far forward while just messing around here. And there's actual voiceovers in this. And I'm scared. This is going to likely be very frustrating. But...
Insanity, by Einstein's definition, is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Scared Shiftless is an unforgiving, extraordinarily difficult game that will separate the insane from the determined. If you're not ready for this kind of challenge, it might be better to save this map for another day. But if you are, proceed on with this warning in mind.
Other thing to note that I probably should have mentioned sooner, no crouching. That's... I know the name of the map kind of gives on it kind of gives off that idea, but yeah, you can't crouch. So that is going to be interesting, to say the least. I don't honestly... Oh, okay, I see. We go over to here. Oh no. Yeah, I get the entire point of this is to be stupidly frustrating, but like, I can already tell the whole lack of crouching thing is going to be painful. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped into this map off of not having played parkour for like 3 weeks, but you know. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to be here. I already just don't want to be here. What? This would be fine if I could crouch. This series of jumps would be so simple if I could crouch. And I did actually unbind my crouch keybind because it resets you back to the start if you crouch at all. So I didn't want to be accidentally hitting it because I have a feeling I'm going to accidentally hit it a lot. We're 2 minutes in and I haven't made it past the second jump. Oh my word. This is going to be an adventure. I mean, I guess, what? So, like, the start of Getting Over It, the idea is kind of to immediately start with a challenge that you might never overcome off the very beginning, right? So that's what this is supposed to emulate, is a challenge that you might just never get over. And I have a feeling this is going to be the sort of thing where if I want to survive, I'm going to need to just slowly just accept that I'm going to fail over and over again and just be okay with that. I think that's the only possible way that you stay sane throughout this. And, you know, best case scenario, I come out of this better at parkour. Worst case scenario, I cry. Oh no. It's really just sinking in what I've accepted to do. Like, I was looking through the maps for something to play, and I was like, well, this looks interesting. Inspired by Getting Over It? Let's go. That sounds interesting. Oh, what have I done to myself? We're 4 minutes in, and I still haven't even actually made the second jump. I've now made it twice, but due to the whole lack of crouching, it's so hard to stay on that tiny glass pane. You gotta play off the momentum properly, which is just very difficult. Ooh, almost. I think if this works out, I think this is gonna be a very long series, with a lot of failing on the same point over and over and over again. Oh no! You guys ready for a full hour of watching me fail this singular oh, never mind, never mind. I've actually made the second jump now. I haven't even tried the third jump yet, but I've actually made the second jump. Or I guess, would it be the third? Because technically, first jump, second jump, then third. So, you know, if you count this first jump, then... I'll take what wins I can get. Okay, okay. I have a feeling this is going to be a lonely experience, too, with just every once in a while cut off by the commentator coming in to be like, oh my goodness, you're in so much pain. Whew! Whew, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Progress! I fall right here, I guarantee it. Oh, never mind, not yet. Okay, okay. I don't want to commit to this jump, that's the problem. I'm too attached to my progress! You might never get over the first tree. That's the idea. And, you know, it's not looking good so far. Actually, it's looking alright. I mean, considering what this is... I mean, this is the sort of situation I was signing up for. So, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I expect a very quick descent into madness. But, it's alright. I'll be okay. I already sound like I've gone a little bit into a descent into madness. Okay, okay. I just want to make this jump again. See, like, the most frustrating part of anything like this is being at that spot where you're just short of being able to get back to where you were. Because past here, the next series of jumps weren't too difficult, right? So, like, if I can make it past this part, from there it should be a little bit easier. But, like, the difficulty of getting through to the part past here is pretty large. And I keep hitting that corner. If I could crouch, I think what makes this so frustrating for this bit here is just the fact that all it would take is being able to crouch. And this entire segment would be super easy. Like, yeah, that's all it would take. I almost wish that they included a setting to be able to use crouch for parts of it instead of just, or for, not for parts of it, but like a setting if you want an easier difficulty. But I also understand that's against the entire point of the map. So, like, it doesn't surprise me that there's not such an option. Uh-oh. Whew. Whew. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Now it's this part. I can already tell this is going to be difficult. Because the problem is, without being able to crouch, I can only get so much of a wind up. And making it past this corner is not easy. That stressed me out. However, because there is a large element of skill to this sort of thing as well, part of the idea is that, like, I think what actually made getting over it good wasn't the element that it was supposed to be, which was just like, oh, it's insanely difficult, and you fall, and you might never get back up, you know? And getting back up is the difficult part. But I think the thing that it fails to realize, which is that if you're playing a game or doing anything in life correctly, then the point is to do it better next time. And I think what made getting over it so entertaining, well, I'm not even going to say entertaining, because a lot of people really hated that game due to how painful it was, but was just getting better at it, right? That's the, you know, exciting part. It's also why video games in general work so well. Why all sorts of video games work so well. Is because as you move along, you feel like you're getting better at it. And there's some games which, you know, might emphasize the point that Bennett Foddy made in getting over it, which is that, you know, all the obstacles in games are fake, and as your character in game gets more items and stuff, you can get over it rather than, you know, having to overcome it yourself. But I think that puts an overemphasis on certain parts of gaming, like RPG games and stuff like that, that are that way. I think there's a lot of games too that just aren't like that, and when you take those into the consideration, it looks very different. And I feel like my viewpoint's kind of changed on that since the last time I did something getting over it related and was talking about this during a video. Because in the past I used to kind of take a mindset of his entire point is completely flawed, but I don't know. I think it's a lot more of there's certain areas of gaming where it makes sense, and there's also a lot where it doesn't. And I think that there's a degree of like the side of gaming that people enjoy that is that way. So we're talking like RPG games and more casual games and stuff like that that are that way. The sort of people that play those aren't the sort of people that are heavy gamers a lot of times. The heavy gamers tend to play more like competitive games where your competition is other players, you know, stuff like that, where there is no element of, you know, regardless of whether you improve or not, you'll get over your obstacle, right? Because you're playing against another player. One person has to win, one person has to lose. So, like, you know, that element just isn't there. You know what I mean? Can I get this jump from this side? Yeah, that's probably easier, isn't that? Than the head hitter. Oh yeah, for sure. Whew. I'm getting a little better at these, though. I can already tell. I'm improving. Slowly but surely. Alright. Nope! Classic case of have the jump and over jump it. That's such a rip. Oh, well, that time I backed off my location. Starting to get a bit more of the mouse placement down. It's definitely trippy. Not being able to crouch. It takes out one of the key elements of parkour. Also, I guess it's laid enough in that anybody that, you know, isn't okay with how this sort of setup's gonna be for it is probably already, you know, clicked off. But this is gonna be the sort of thing where it's like I'm suffering through every second of this. You guys get too. Because, like, one thing I tend to do in a lot of parkour maps is when I'm struggling to make a specific area, I'll cut the recording until I've made the jump, just so that there's not like half an hour of me trying the same jump over and over and over again in the recording. But that's not going to be the case for this. This is if I've failed this same jump for the next half an hour, that's going to be the video, which Maybe not a good video, but it'll be the video. 15 minutes. Oh. The entertaining part's the descent to madness, though, right? So, I guess you guys do miss out on that if I cut. Oh my goodness. This is so insanely frustrating. Oh. Okay. 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 Oh! Oh my goodness. Oh, you can't crouch. Where do I go from here? Oh no. Where do I go from here? I don't think I dropped down to there. I think that's a trap. I'm like 80% sure this is a trap. But I don't see where else to go. So,
you've decided to brave the risk of failure by climbing the metaphorical tree. This tree was planted and raised by Bennett Foddy, a talented artist, philosopher, and video game designer who fabricated the viral game Getting Over It, which inspired the game you're now playing. Though a tree is an intriguing perspective on how to see what you've just accomplished, I prefer to see it as a mountain. You may reach the summit, given enough grit and sweat, overcoming trials and tribulations, only to see another peak rising higher than the one you've just summited. These other peaks invite challenges, and those willing to attempt and accomplish them are truly boundless and determined.
all right. I'm gonna note so far though. Oh. Oh no. I take back everything I was about to say. I was gonna say that the way this is set up so far feels more like a level system where, you know, okay, I've reached the next area. I don't see any risk of falling back to that first tree. Oh no! Oh no, that's just for the first tree. If you look up, oh, there are spots to fall everywhere. I'm honestly surprised that there's no way to fall back to the start. Oh, that's going to be so frustrating. However, I did it. I completed the first challenge. If any of you think that that looked easy and that was stupid for taking me 15 minutes, I challenge you to go try that. Yeah, no, that was incredibly difficult for what it was. I'm still disappointed it took me 17 minutes, but definitely was difficult. Ladders without crouch? Are you serious? We have to do ladders without any crouching? Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Oh, ruh-roh. Oh, that wasn't open. Alright. So arrow point. Oh, that's not an arrow. Those are just signs. In that case, I go up here. And back to the start. So this is basically the start here. I am kind of disappointed that the way the voiceovers are put in, that it's clear there's not going to be a lot, and that there's not really going to be many set up for failure. At least that's how it feels so far. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it picks up as it goes along. Although, I feel like for a parkour map, it makes more sense to go a little heavier early on, just to make sure your audience doesn't leave quickly. But I also understand that, considering what the point of this map is, it wouldn't make sense if he was willing to beg the audience to stick around. Where do I go from here? What? Oh, I need to get over there. Whew. Alright, a solid surface. No! I hit the side! So close. So it's gonna be like this the whole way up, huh? Where one failure completely resets you. I've said in the past that I like further checkpoints and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure I've even said in the past that this is the sort of map I want to see at some point. Where there's
Being
like...
brave isn't the absence of fear. Being brave is having fear, but finding a way through it. Bear Grylls.
You know, what really gave me fear there was him suddenly talking while I was in the middle of a sentence and cutting me off. That actually jump scared me. Where was I even at? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've said in the past that the sort of map that I wanted to see was one with no checkpoints across the entirety of it, where you had to complete it in one go through without being allowed to fail at any point throughout the entirety of it. So, like, once again, I feel like I don't have all that much room to complain, because not only have I subjected myself to this, I've said in the past that I've wanted to subject myself to this. So, like, you know, I feel like the reason why I enjoy gaming, though, does have in large to do with the overcoming obstacle things. Every time that, you know, I overcome some form of obstacle in a game that I was unable to complete before. Oh, that's the first time I've fallen there. And I make it through to a further location. It just feels good. And, you know, to some degree, that's what gaming's all about. So, yeah, I definitely feel like my viewpoint on this has changed. I feel like if I rewatched a Getting Over It with playthrough, or went through and actually played the game myself, I'd probably agree with Bennett Foddy a lot more than I did the first time I saw Markiplier run through the game, and, you know, I disagreed with most of what he was saying. But, it is what it is. I mean, viewpoints mature, and if you're not willing to adjust...
What differentiates those determined from those who are insane, though? Martin Luther is a prime example of this distinguished fine line. A singular man with an opinion against the vast majority of what had been established, he stood his ground and spoke his opinion on eternal salvation being earned through the mercy of God rather than goods done by the individual. Despite his life being put in jeopardy by announcing his thoughts, he stood his ground, being bold and determined in the face of mortal danger and ridicule. And he accomplished his goal because of his determination, which his goal was reformation. Those who accomplish are those determined, while those who are insane never accomplish anything.
I don't think I agree. I don't think that not accomplishing something distinguishes you as the insane instead of the determined. How does one do this? That drops me. If I go there, I'll drop. Oh, I do need to drop tier. I have to wiggle my way around tier up to this, and then we go up. Alright. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I don't think the distinction is based off of the lines of success or failure. I don't think being highly determined to do something and never succeeding makes you insane in any way or a failure. I think part of what matters is just the fact that you had the determination in the first place and you were willing to put yourself on the line for trying to accomplish something, even if you never did successfully accomplish it. I think there's something noble in that. Also, I'm completely clueless somewhere to go. I guess I need to drop, like... No, why would I need to drop to there? Oh, wait. I shouldn't be here in the first place. No! Okay. Okay. I'm fine. But yeah, because, like, I think if you want to be remembered as great, and I think to be great, you have to succeed. But I think to be determined and to be determined and fail doesn't make you insane. I think that failure can lead to insanity, obviously. Some people, you know, struggle very heavily with insanity due to failing, but I don't think that it's a... I don't think it's the correlation the map creator was trying to set up here. Just doesn't sound right to me. Oh, man. As long as I can keep clutching every time I fail, failing is not a problem. Okay. And I take it we walk along here, drop to here, jump to here. Do I go over there? No. Go to there. Ah, that was a long fall. That was a long stinking fall. That's fine though. I'm not looking forward to the first time I drop all the way to the bottom, because that is going to happen at some point throughout this map. I'm going to fall all the way to the complete bottom. We're only half an hour in though. I did say I'd go for like 40 minutes or something like that. So let's try and at least make it back up to where I was just at. Too bad. Everything was going so well for me. This map is going to be a long, strenuous process. I do appreciate that the beginning was as difficult as it was, because if I had been at a point in my parkour career where I couldn't make that beginning part, it would have been better that I had just quit off instead of proceeding on to this point. It would have been a huge waste of time. Maybe not better, but like it would have been a pretty large waste of time. And I'm already back up here. Look at that. But yeah, because like it's at a point where I don't think I really would get much out of this from playing it when I'm worse. Like, it's just kind of one of those things where it's at that point where it's high enough in difficulty that if you're going in not ready, then you won't really get much out of it, in my opinion. But it's going to be really interesting once I come back to this, though. Assuming this video does well enough. Because I'm all warmed up now, and like, you know, a lot of the jumps that I was missing before I'm hitting, but if I come back after a break, I'm not going to be nearly as warmed up. Maybe taking that jump without sprint is the way to go. That just felt right, but I don't know. I also understand why there's no shift. This map would be stupid easy. At least up to this point, if you could crouch. Maybe not stupid easy, but it would have been fairly easy if you could crouch. And I have a feeling the map was built with that in mind from the very start. I mean, it only makes sense that it would be. I just know that there are times with games and stuff where there's stuff like that that's added in as a gimmick. But the reason why isn't that they wanted to add the gimmick. It's because they messed something up making the map. and it led to them having no other choice if they wanted to actually make the map any decent. So, like, I always find it interesting when there's something like that to kind of take a look and be like, alright, is this here because something got messed up during creation and this would have been too easy? Or is it here because that's the whole point of the entire map built around it? And this definitely feels like entire point with the map built around it. That jump's difficult. And also, while the philosophy of these sort of games aren't always on point, in my opinion, I do think that the lesson you can learn from persevering through something like this can be good. Like, persevering through something incredibly difficult and being willing to get back up and try again. Like, as I said earlier, there's something very noble to that. And I think that it's a good lesson for everybody to at least try and learn. I get that it's one of those things that not everybody's capable of, but that's okay. But for those that, you know, are capable of kind of that get back up attitude, but just haven't had the opportunity to do stuff that forces them to take that attitude, I feel like this sort of map's, you know, a good adventure. This doesn't close up, does it? No, it definitely does not. There's one over here that I can open, though.
Scared Shiftless is a game, or rather a way to decide between who's determined and who's insane. By providing a course that is unforgiving and can only be beaten by those who persevere and are willing to try, ultimately it will reveal to you, the player, whether you have what it takes or if you're too indolent to go that extra mile. But it will also reveal if you're insane, in the aspect that trying the same thing over and over and failing repeatedly while not changing your plan of action means you're inflexible and unwilling to see an alternative route. By taking away the common and heavily relied on feature of shifting in Minecraft, I've forced you to be innovative and strategic on how to plot your course and proceed, a feature that is unique, a concept more unexplored for the most part.
Oh no. Did one of these open the door? No, we just have to go up. Although I figured it out. I know why getting over with Bennett Foddy annoyed me so much, and why these sort of things annoy me sometimes. It's not even always that I disagree with what
truly regulates something unique from something being ordinary. It's a great question to ask, and an answer from the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, says that, quote, "There is nothing new under the sun," end quote. War and famine, pandemics and the fear of the unknown, poverty and tragedy. It's all been seen and all occurred before. But the world has a tendency to move on and forget their history, which leads to mistakes and misfortunes becoming all the more evident in our modern society. This forgetting is quite possibly what determines when something becomes new and unique. Getting over it is still a relatively new and innovative game, full of unheard sorts of gameplay, which, for this time, makes it unique. But, for example, if it were to fade into history as time progresses, maybe Scared Shiftless would take its title of being unique and new. Uniqueness is an arbitrary term created to classify that what's not been seen before, even though we all know that there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, so as I was saying, and I feel like that only helped my case, like, the problem I feel like I actually have with this stuff is the fact that like the hosts and stuff, they talk like it's some, like, they're talking about basic concepts in very convoluted, pompous ways. And like, I forget who said this, but I remember hearing somebody talk once, and they were like, yeah, the greatest gift isn't to make simple things sound complex. That's not what makes you smart or a good philosopher or anything like that. It's taking complex things and making them sound simple. It's also why we kind of have this, why some people say if you want to truly understand something, you have to be capable of explaining it to a 4th grader. Right? Like, kind of that idea that if you truly understand something, you can make it really simple in your explanations to the point that, you know, to somebody that doesn't have a lot of background knowledge or anything like that, it still sounds simple and they can still understand it. And that's what it truly is to be knowledgeable about things. So the idea of taking simple concepts and making them sound complex, like I find the hosts of these sort of things tend to do a lot, just isn't very valuable. And like, even when they're saying things that make perfect sense and I agree with, I still have that lingering sense of like annoyance with the way things are going down. And I think that kind of puts into words my annoyance with stuff like this, is the, you know, simplicity of what they're saying, but the complexity of which they say it. Because there's things like, you know, for the first like 3 or 4 voice lines, the point he was trying to get across was simply, if you persevere and succeed, you've done something good. If you persevere and fail continuously, then it might mean you're insane. That's the gist of what he said for like the first 3 or 4 voice lines. And it can be summed up very easily and simply. So I don't know, it just, it's kind of the idea of people that, well, we have a term for them, pseudo-philosophers. You know, people that think that they're really smart and talk like it, but then miss some of the key points of what it means to be smart. And it's very possible that the guy that made this map is very incredibly intelligent. It's very possible. But that he's, you know, simply has picked up the idea that making the stuff sound complex is better. I just disagree on a fundamental level. Especially for stuff where your point is where the entire point is to convey your message to as many people as possible. Increasing the complexity of it does no good for anyone. Because even incredibly intelligent people, if you make stuff complex, it's much more difficult for them to understand it. And, you know, so then for those of us that, you know, maybe aren't all that smart in general, which, you know, wouldn't surprise me if that includes me, you know, struggle more to understand even further than the smart people sometimes. And I think it might even go a little bit beyond that too, in the fact that when you make stuff complex, you require additional pre-existing knowledge to understand it. Which means it's not even an intelligence thing. You know, that was actually kind of a misstep on my logic there. No, it's not even an intelligence thing. It's a knowledge thing. You have to have pre-existing knowledge to stand any chance of understanding it. Which, when you're putting across fairly simple things, requiring pre-existing knowledge to understand simple things can, you know, lead to problems. especially when it's simple things that have absolutely no business requiring pre-existing knowledge. And once again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's at least where today I feel like I stand on it. And we're up to an additional floor. I'm not even gonna say anything. You're gonna do that to me and then not even say anything? Where does this lead down to?
Determining what's unique and not can be debated for an eternity. I guess it's truly up to the interpretation of you, the player, or you, the person, to decide what is and what isn't actually unique. Looking at all the themes of Scared Shiftless you've seen so far, whether it's been a beachside resort or a concrete prison, you get to determine if the themes have been seen before, or if the configuration and media in which this game has been built to make it is unique. It's a beautiful thing to have thought and a consciousness, as it allows things like opinion and fact to coexist with controversy and information. It gives us the ability to argue over possibly nothing of actual importance, like what is and what's not unique. Thought, in essence, is the building stone for every conceivable idea, and as we may know, ideas lead to innovation and a desire to create, hence the reason Scared Shiftless exists now.
Alright, sorry about that. My sister came in. So yeah, this has been part 1 of Scared Shiftless. I really like the map. I really like the concept. I have my complaints about the way some of the stuff's portrayed, but it honestly might just be me. It might all be stuff that doesn't really deserve complaining about. Actually, that wouldn't surprise me, knowing me. But, what? Me complaining about something that doesn't need to be complained about? Never. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to end this one off here. Whenever we get back to this, there's a chance we'll be starting from all the way down there if I miss this singular jump, or that jump, or the jump after that will be completely reset. And have a very long way to go to get back. Alright, anyway, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye-bye.